Let's be real. If you're not pooping, you're not thriving. And this is something that ends up plaguing pregnant women almost throughout their pregnancy. But the first trimester can definitely be the worst. Welcome back to Your Other Doctor, where I help you decode your health from a root cause perspective. I am Dr. Britnei Artz, pregnant mom, holistic doctor, and your other doctor. And yes, even on baby number 3, constipation is something that plagues me too. I want to talk to you about things that you can do to fix that. Let's talk about why constipation even happens. Constipation in your first trimester happens not because of structural changes, that's coming in the third trimester, but because of progesterone. Our body increases the amount of progesterone that we have, particularly in the first 12 weeks, in order to hold that pregnancy strong. Unfortunately, it also holds your bowel movements. Progesterone can kind of dry you out and slow digestion. Other reasons why constipation happens: nausea prevents us from eating enough fiber. So there are some dietary contributions to why you end up constipated. Another one is hydration. It's hard enough on a regular non-pregnant day to get all of your water in. But when you're pregnant and you're not feeling well, water isn't typically the first thing on your list. Add in iron from prenatals, which are highly recommended in pregnancy and can actually help with things like nausea, and your digestion ends up slower than your grandma in a grocery store. So let's break down how we can address every single one of these things. When it comes to progesterone, unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that, and you wouldn't want to. We want to make sure we have enough progesterone to get through our first trimester safely. But there are things that we can do from a dietary perspective. Let's talk about fiber. Fiber does not come equally. It comes in all different shapes and sizes. We want to make sure that we're considering good sources of soluble fiber as well as good sources of insoluble fiber. This means a combination of whole grains, gluten-free grains, if you have to be gluten-free, and vegetable fiber as well. Yes, fruit does have some fiber, but we also have to be very mindful of blood sugar spikes in pregnancy. So think fiber in forms of vegetables and grains first. One of my favorite things to do during my first trimester was make a smoothie. Smoothies are pretty tolerable when you're feeling super nauseous, and you can pack a lot of nutrients and fiber into them. Flax seeds and chia seeds, chia actually being one of our highest fiber foods, are really great additions to put into that berry smoothie that you're making in the morning. You can also make something like a chia pudding. You can make overnight oats and throw some chia seeds in there, and yogurt if that's something that you're into. Dairy tends to be a little difficult during the first trimester, and you've got to be careful because dairy can be constipating even when you're not pregnant. But throwing some chia seeds into whatever you're already eating is going to be one of the best ways to keep things moving. Try to make it a goal to get at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. Chia seeds also act like little scrubber brushes for your colon, so they help to kind of detox and clean things out while they're getting your bowel movements going. What about supplements? One of the most benign supplements that you can take is magnesium, but just like fiber, not all magnesium is the same. Magnesium glycinate and citrate are going to be your best friends in this scenario. What you want to avoid is anything that has osmotic laxative activity. So something like milk of magnesia, for example, that's not the type of magnesium that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the type of magnesium that gently brings water into your stool and also relaxes the muscles that are in your digestive tract so that you can have a bowel movement. Magnesium is great to take orally. Maybe about 300 milligrams, 400 milligrams at night is a really good time to take it. Better absorption that way. But magnesium is also awesome to soak in. We've all heard of Epsom salts, and sometimes I think we forget that our skin is the biggest organ of our body. So why not try to get as much medicine through that perspective as well? You can soak in a bath with Epsom salts, usually about 2 to 3 cups for 20 minutes. and it can have the same relaxing effect that taking it orally would. What about hydration? Water during pregnancy is actually not enough. And even in general, most of us are dehydrated, even though we're drinking plenty of water. What we want to do is rehydrate our water. Water itself does not make it inside of the cells of your body in the same way that structured water would. So something that has minerals or electrolytes. The electrolytes that we want to look for could include something like magnesium. Then you get double duty there, no pun intended. We can also take a little bit of help from our bacterial friends, lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. Those are actually very well researched and safe during pregnancy. They can help you to digest those good fibers that you're going to be eating, and that can help to get things moving as well. So don't be afraid to grab a good probiotic. And remember, not all probiotics are created the same, and not all of them need to be refrigerated. So if you are spending mucho moolah on probiotics and you're not even sure if they're the right ones or if they're working for you, please let me know. But we also want something like sodium and potassium and chloride. Those ions actually sit on the surface of our cell, and when you drink water, they exchange and allow for the movement of water inside of your cells instead of just hanging out on the outside. If you're someone who drinks a lot of water but still feels pretty dehydrated, try adding electrolytes. I have a few favorite brands. I'm very picky about the flavor of electrolytes. I think most of them can just taste like salty water. So I'll give you my suggestion. There is a brand called IQ Mix off of Amazon that comes in a variety pack. It's delicious. It's flavored with stevia. Something else to be mindful of. Don't get anything that's been flavored with sugar or something like xylitol or erythritol. Try to stay with monk fruit or stevia since those don't have an effect on your blood sugar. Lastly, I want you to consider the effect that movement or lack thereof can have on your digestion. Movement is one of the best ways that we can start to get things moving. I'm going to give you a tip for something that you can do, like an abdominal massage. So I want you to start here, a little lower, like right lower quadrant, come up, across your belly, down to the lower left quadrant, and just keep doing that movement over and over again, okay? That will actually help because your colon starts here, comes up and across, and then everything goes out this way. So structurally, that will help to start moving things along, and that's actually really helpful if you have any trapped gas too. But other types of movement would be sitting cross-legged and slowly twisting to either side, which feels good and is good for you. You can even lay on your back and kind of like pumping your legs like you would with the baby while she's laying on her back. That's something that you can kind of do on your own, moving your knees to your chest and then away. All of those are kind of exercises that we can engage in, but even just gentle walking and stretching are going to be really helpful for getting your lymphatic system going, pumping those veins, getting your digestion convinced that maybe now is a good time to eliminate. What I want you guys to avoid is getting into crisis mode. It's been 3 or 4 days without a bowel movement. You're incredibly uncomfortable. And now you're Googling, can I drink prune juice 75 times a day? We want to not get there. Try to get ahead of this. Try as early as you can. These are great habits to even have pre-conception, and that will really start to head off many of these issues. But also keep in mind, the first trimester is only temporary and you will make it through. If you need a stronger intervention, I would recommend that you speak to your physician about it. You can also shoot me a comment or a message on Instagram, and I would be happy to give you some additional tips and tricks. Constipation is one of those things that nobody really brags about, but nobody really talks about either. So if you're trying to bring awareness to your bowels and you're getting weird faces from your family or your partner, remind them you are growing a human from scratch and you need to do what you have to do to make sure that you're comfortable. So let's be brave. Even my non-pregnant mamas, I want to hear what your go-to is when you're getting backed up. Drop a comment below. Lucky for you you guys, this is only episode 1 in my first trimester survival guide. So if you are struggling with constipation or many of the other things that we get to experience in the first trimester, don't worry, we're going to cover it all. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing.